Hello, David Violet here with note-taking for consecutive interpreting. Just a few pointers today about when you're talking to a group. It will happen to you someday, as it seems like it's happened to me hundreds of times, that you will find yourself in a room like this. Maybe you were actually in the booth at the back of this room and something happened to the equipment. It wouldn't work. You could no longer do simultaneous, and so they asked you to come to the front and do consecutive. Or maybe you will find yourself in a field like this. And I can't tell you how many times I've walked around a field with a group that looked a lot like that. And you get the speaker telling about the various crops that they grow there, etc. And my point today is that you need to speak to your audience. You need to take a look at who is listening to you. And sometimes they don't look like they're listening to you. Sometimes they are fiddling with something or they're a little bit out of touch with what's happening because they don't understand the original. They're maybe drifting off a little bit. You still need to be aware of those people and where they are, because you need to project your voice all the way to the person farthest away from you. That is the rule. In a room, if you're in a large room, no sound system, and there are people at the back, and there is even a small chance that they are among those who don't understand the original, you're going to need to project your voice back all the way to the other side, to the very back of that room, or in the case of the field, project your voice all the way across to the back of that crowd of people standing on a field. It's just the reality. And you may find actually that the speaker in the original language is speaking to those who understand that source language quietly. Sometimes they actually will just be speaking so that the people in a little ball around them can hear. Well, that's their problem. When it comes to your interpretation, you must assume that there are people at the very back of this crowd who do not understand the source language and who need your interpretation. Now, depending on the situation, you may actually want to say, hey, you guys, come in closer, or ladies and gentlemen, those of you who don't understand, please come a bit closer for the interpretation. You might have to actually do that. But you do need to take a little bit of responsibility. It's not like I'm just going to say the words, and if they're here, that's up to them. I don't see it that way. You have to take responsibility for the broader situation. Of course, if you're in a large gathering and you have technicians and various organizers around helping, then of course they will do that work. But if you're in a gathering like this in a small room or out in a field like we see in this image, you do need to, apply the rule that I always say, one of the two rules, which is have empathy for the first rule, have empathy for the speaker. What would you want the interpreter to do if you were the speaker? And empathy for the listener. What would you want the interpreter to do if you were one of the listeners? And then do that if it fits, if it remains professional. That's all for today. Thank you very much for your attention. Please give us a like down below if you're watching this on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. Also, take a look if you're interested in actual training for note-taking for consecutive interpreting. Look at the description below and you'll find links that will take you to my various training platforms.